Ladies and gentlemen, episode number 21. We are still going. Now, before I start this, I just want to say if you are listening or watching this video on YouTube and you just want to listen to it, like you don't have time to watch the full video, totally understand. You can find this podcast wherever podcasts are hosted. So that means Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Anchor, any of those. I pretty much blast it out to everywhere. So you can check it out on there. I will also start making small clips taken from these videos just to give you some more digestible content. Now, this episode was pretty fascinating. I was talking to my friend T, and I realized before I actually was talking to her on the podcast that I actually haven't met anybody who has gone through quarantine, having come back from overseas, which is crazy because here in New Zealand we have so much of that. People coming back from overseas, and I was really just interested in the nitty-gritty, the day-to-day tasks that are involved in being in quarantine, the plays that it has on your mental health, what it feels like adjusting, coming out of quarantine socially, physically, mentally, and I wanted to get T's perspective on it. Now, T is a comedian, has done a bit of radio work, and has returned to New Zealand from Sydney recently. Literally got out of quarantine about a week before this episode was filmed, so it was just awesome to get a really fresh perspective on it. Now, enjoy. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you're just listening to it, go ahead and keep on listening. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nice. I can hear you too. It is awfully quiet though.
Yeah.
That's very... How's that? Ooh, there we go.
Especially since I was yelling about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, man. You were so angry. You hate cyclists, don't you?
I hate cyclists and I hate Google Maps when it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
It was the two combined. And then the irony was that I had Christmas carols playing and I'm just seething and it's like, have a Merry Christmas time. I'm like,
Tell us what happened. You're in your car.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm in my car. I'm trying to get here. I've forgotten how Wellington works anymore. No idea. I can't really, which annoys me as well because it makes me feel old.
Back in my day, it was all horse and carriage.
And I apparently blitzed through a red light, which a concerned citizen in his full lycra on his bike helmet, bike with his bike helmet, decided to come and tell me, go out of his way to knock on my window to tell me that I'd gone through a red light.
Man. I mean, objectively, he is in the right, but you're angry.
No, hang on. Uh-huh. I don't know if he didn't go through a red light to chase after me to tell me. He had been out of his directional way to come up to me. Sure, I made a mistake.
Yes.
But to come to right up to my window, knock on my window and tell me, I mean, incredible risk to himself. He doesn't know how I'm going to react. So he's obviously looked at me and judged me and gone, you're a blonde female, you won't react. To then tell me. And I honestly, if I had have hit someone, oh my God, of course. And I do not condone what I was doing anyway. But oh my God, to just feel like you're entitled to tell someone off like that is just does my head in.
And so we've brought that energy into the studio.
I know, and I was in such a good mood.
No, we're fine. It's a beautiful day.
It's still grey.
Is it kind of grey? I mean, it kind of is. I don't know.
You can't judge anything in this country, Wellington at least. You can't just go, oh, it's a beautiful day because 5 minutes later.
I was pouring with rain. So shit.
And then 5 minutes after that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You cannot dress for the city.
You should pack a rain jacket with you, I think, all the time. You should
pack a rain jacket and wear several different layers.
Yeah.
Have you learnt that?
Kind of. I always wear jeans. Yeah. I never wear shorts just because I'm such a low tolerance to the cold.
Okay.
So let's start with you. You are a comedian.
Okay. I think I've probably earned that title.
I think so. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I still say I'm a comic. I say that now.
But that's all you do? Plus this kind of stuff?
Well, I think it depends on, how I define myself, right? And so, I define myself mainly as a comedian rather than a teacher aide, You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. This is interesting. So it's quite so obviously. Well, I'll skip ahead to explain my point. I've come back from Sydney, where I had a full-time office job as well as doing all the other things because you've got to live, right? So when I'm on introducing myself on dating apps, and guys are like, "What do you do for work?" How do you answer that question? Because that is so tricky. Because there's two reasons. I want to hear your answer, and then I'll say why.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I match with guys on Tinder,
Hey,
no,
there's a lot of good-looking guys out there.
To be honest, I don't really use any like other dating apps. I just know, but there is like a weird imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? And I think, do you know what I think that is? I think that comes from being a Kiwi. Is like we don't really like to talk ourselves up too much. And so when we say we're like a comedian, we're actually trying to, because at the same time it's like, oh, so you're a comedian. Cool. So you assume that you're a full-time comic, you're making your money, you're doing all that stuff. It's like, well, no. I mean, but the reality of the arts for the most part is I don't know too many comics. I don't know any comics in Wellington who are making a full-time, salary. But it's interesting because then we attribute how we define who we are by the money that it brings in rather than I think how much we do or how passionate we are, how involved we are with it, Yeah,
I mean, you could say like someone who loved train making sets was a train enthusiast, though. I mean, are we enthusiasts because we're not bringing in the money?
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a very good point.
I see what you're saying, and as a fellow comic, I still can't help but using like the air quotes.
Little air quotes.
It's tough. You will see me. It's in the coming year. I should pop up on a Chase episode for Australian Chase.
Can you link that to me when it comes out?
I won't say how it went, but
let's just say I'm broke.
I'm here.
Come on, Gavin Lawrence. You son of a bitch.
I'd still do it anyway. So, and I had to introduce myself as that because I work in a government job and I can't go out and say that. So
you can't say you're a comedian if you're working a government job?
No, you can't say you're in a government job because of privacy and stuff. They don't.
The Chase.
Yeah, any of the quiz shows.
Right.
You'd have to get permission to talk about it, and it's just easier not to because government takes forever. Although not me, my team was efficient.
Yeah, we were incredibly motivated by KPIs working in government.
No. So I did say that, and the lady who was our producer runs a comic show over in because each team has a producer, so runs a comedy show over there, and I was actually quite hesitant to say it, and then I could just sort of see her face, and I was so when you do a quiz show, you have to do a little intro.
Right.
Yeah, you have to do an intro for yourself, like, oh, hey, I'm Te Rina and I work at blah, 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 blah.
Gotcha.
So I think I said, I do comedy and community radio and things like that. And I wasn't really selling it. And she was like, oh, and then I kind of went, well, it's just that, do I really want to call myself a comic? And she's like, oh, I'm really glad you said that because a lot of people oversell themselves to her when they're trying to get spots, obviously.
Right.
So it's a really fine balance. But I feel like there's a lot coming back to Wellington, especially I feel like there's a lot more respect for what I've done from previously being here. So that's been quite a nice surprise, I think.
As far as like what you did when you were doing comedy here in New Zealand.
Yeah. People have still remembered me, and obviously they're friends anyway. And it's been lovely to see everyone because it is a lovely scene down here. But it has been also a nice sort of relief to be like, oh, yeah, I don't have to sit here and be like, because the hustle is hard, The selling.
Do you know what else is interesting as well? I think like wherever the city that you start in, you're always kind of looked at as though you started there.
So they own you.
Yeah. But also as well, I think they always look at you as like new, don't get me wrong. There is oh yeah, he's getting better. But there's like a distinct difference because it's like you will always be an open micer in the city that you started in. Does that make sense? There's like a perspective of like, I saw you from day one and you were just bombing, doing like yuck jokes.
Sure, yeah.
Versus like, I've come in from a different city, totally new, and you only know me in my context of like 3 years into comedy.
Right. That hasn't been my experience.
Right.
Yeah. I think people have been happy to see you grow. Well, having said that, a comment was made that, oh, you look so comfortable on stage. And I mean, I've been doing it 5 years, so you'd hope you've got a bit of, and so that's nice to know that I've probably grown. I really kind of started in Sydney. And maybe that might explain the attitude in Sydney, but you know, there's so many gigs and scenes and cliques and stuff over there that the views, the opinions people have on you are varied and different.
Right.
And sometimes based on personal assumptions or or rumors you've heard or.
On that note, you came from Sydney, and this is what I really wanted to talk to you about.
Yes, we've done our little.
We've done our loops.
I just took a Hawaii tour around Wellington, and now let's get to why I'm here.
Hell, this is like classic our conversations too. We just can't fucking pin down a topic at all.
This is why I said we got to. Okay, so let's talk about it.
Okay, so you left Australia and went into quarantine in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Where in New Zealand did you quarantine?
Okay, well, let's actually go back a little bit because I want to give you the whole experience. So the first weird thing is you turn up to Sydney Airport, a super busy airport. Have you ever been?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, you know how busy it is. No one. There's
Completely
one.
empty.
Two people checked in. Another girl checked in with me, and we became friends, which will come out later. But so we checked in. I had misweighed my bag, so it was good caliber kgs over on each of them.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, I thought I was coming back to live, so I thought, oh my God, no questions. They just took so few people on the plane. As it turned out, there were only 40 people on the plane. They don't care what you're carrying.
Because the weight's just like so,
the weight distribution is like whatever, So then we rock over. My mate was with me, and he's like, oh, I'm going to have a coffee with you before you go. And I'm thinking, so all those, there's like maybe the pharmacies and the bookstores are open, but everything else is closed. Lots of things are empty. There's one lone security guard. We actually found somewhere to have a coffee, and it was in amongst, and bear in mind, we're still doing this social distancing over there as well. We're amongst all the staff members.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Burger King was open, but the McDonald's wasn't open, or it was or it wasn't. Vice versa.
Yeah.
Bizarre. And then I go into the gates, and I'm like the only person walking the halls. Like, it's surreal.
Yeah.
It was when you start to go, oh, this is a real thing. Like, we know it's a real thing and we've been through it, but to still see its effects now, what are we, like 9 months in?
Yeah.
And to see one of the busiest airports absolutely dead is like, wow. Yeah. Masks on, and then we get on the plane, and the whole time you're going, where am I going? Because you don't know. So at the moment you're booking in for your vouchers, you sign up, you get to it, but you don't know where they're going to send you. Literally anywhere in the country.
Really?
Yeah. You don't even get to pick or say, my next destination is here. It makes sense for you to send me to this city. That's not done. They just get you on the plane, get you there. And at any point you're kind of like, is someone going to tell me where I'm going, what city I'm going to, because you can't make plans if you don't know where you're going.
Of course.
Yeah. So, the flight was great. It was like 4 of us in a premium economy. Me and my new friend managed to get told off by a couple as we were being too noisy. And my friend said jokingly, she goes, oh, give us the whole bottle. And the lady was like, do you want the bottle of wine?
Wait, so like,
I got drunk on the plane.
Did you pay for premium economy?
I do, because you get the extra bags. And because when you were booking, so my flights got cancelled like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, right.
And when we were booking, she's like, well, if you want to make sure you get a seat, go premium economy. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I thought that makes sense. Anyway, it turned out to be fun, but it cost me.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah. Did you watch movies, or you just drink it and chat?
No. Well, we couldn't, because we couldn't really sit next to each other.
Right, okay.
So we were kind of chatting, and then we were actually, first time I've ever used the seat chat.
The seat chat?
Yeah.
Is that when you call like another seat?
No, like there's a messenger on the seats.
I don't know that.
Yeah. So if you see a hottie, you can be like, yo,
what's up?
Yo.
Hey, 14B. You see him look up, you're like, no response.
Yeah. There's something falling on your head. No, fantastic. Radio. Yeah. So fast forwarding all that, we get there, and we're kind of ushered in together. It's still pretty quiet at Auckland Airport too, but there's a little bit more hustle. I thought there would be more. There's quite a bit of time where you're walking, where you're sort of on your own. I thought we would be more like
guided in.
Yeah, or just more like under lock. Like,
are there opportunities for you to like run off if you wanted to
I'd like to think so.
Crowds?
You see those security guards. Like, what are they doing?
What are they going to do?
I actually almost did a run in Sydney Airport for the one security guard that was on his phone, and then I was like, "Is it worth it?"
No, absolutely not. No, was the check-ins and stuff like just as secure as it would normally be? Like scan your bags.
Yeah, but just like honestly, they didn't really not care. It was just sort of, it was. I don't know. It was weird. There wasn't that kind of like, the rules to be followed. It was because there were 40 people on the flight. Like,
sure.
You know.
Do you know what I wonder? I wonder if the price of drugs has gone up because people aren't able to smuggle it in as easy.
I'm sure.
Surely that's like an effect, right?
Sure.
Like, I think within New Zealand, I think the MDMA is made here.
I was going to say.
But I don't know with cocaine, because the cocaine, you don't see any of it in New Zealand. I mean, maybe not in Wellington at least.
That's a good point. I'm sure it's in Auckland.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I don't know if this is a conversation we should have, but
neither of us are partaking right now.
Well, exactly. I'm just literally.
And
just
I've run a red light, so legally someone can get.
Yeah,
me
you're
for
already
that.
fucked anyway. You know. But in saying that, you're a blonde, you'll get off.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Please.
You'll get told off, but not put in jail.
But,
as we experienced. No, let's not sidetrack. So then you're in the airport. Okay, you're in Auckland.
I'm worried.
You're in Auckland.
Yeah. It's all
land,
pretty like
they guide you in.
They not usually. You just kind of follow the things, and the whole time you're going, when are they going to tell me anything? What are they going to tell me? What is waiting for me when I get through those doors?
So when you land in Auckland, do you know you're going to be in Auckland? At that point, have they told you?
No.
So is there a chance you could get transferred from Auckland down to Christchurch or Wellington? They put you in there, right? Okay.
Yes. I thought so when I booked mine. We were like,
where did you book your final destination for?
I just left it at Auckland. But they don't ask you when you fill in the form.
Right.
They just go, what flight are you on? I mean, I guess they probably know. What flight are you on? When are you arriving? What's your name? That's it.
And that's it. And that's the form that you're telling them to allocate you a place to stay with.
The MIQ voucher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have the voucher before they will confirm your flights for Air New Zealand, which I think is good due diligence because, people get there and have nowhere to go. So they would go through. And at any time, I'm waiting for someone to be like, stop, follow me. But it doesn't happen until we go through the gates.
Yeah.
By now, all the people I've traveled with are kind of like separated a bit. We're not in a tight group.
One's dying of COVID.
One's like,
yeah.
And then we come off, and then there we are, kind of like, and I'm still looking. We walk outside, and that's when they direct us to a bus.
Now, when you walk outside, are you fenced in? Is it all fenced?
No.
So can you see regular people around?
Yeah, there were some people around. Yeah, for sure.
Whoa.
So, I mean, maybe it was more under control than I saw, and it didn't seem like. And there was I really know there was security guard. The people helping us onto the bus were just average Joes doing their work. They weren't military. They weren't.
They're fully masked up, gloves.
Masks. I don't think they had gloves on. Maybe not. They were pretty
lax.
Yeah, not lax. They just were comfortable. Okay. Not like, stay away from me. But I guess if you're doing it all day long.
Sure, I'm sure you get used to it. So they put you on the bus.
Put us on the bus.
Now, you paid for this flight.
Yes.
How much did the flight cost?
In the end, I think it cost me about $900.
If it wasn't premium economy, how much would it cost you?
About $300. That particular flight, maybe $300.
So it's roughly the same price.
I think so.
Maybe it sounds a bit more expensive.
Yes,
but
a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay, so then you fly in, you get $900. They put you on the bus.
Yes.
Do you go to a hotel?
So on the bus, right?
Yeah.
Even so, there's no, you must sit this far apart from each other. People sat. My mate and I sat next to each other. We were a bit naughty. She even, gave me a chip and stuff. At this point, I reckon we've broken our bubble, but it's fine. I mean, we were COVID-free. We both come from, and then bear in mind, Sydney has, barely any cases at the minute.
Did you get tested before you got on the plane?
No.
Anything like that?
Nothing. No, nothing. Right. We get on, and then we're just kind of waiting. And then after about 10 minutes, and again, we're all in this bus together. Again, we've all got masks on. So everyone's wearing masks, but we're wearing our own masks at that point, ones that we've brought. So not surgical ones or whatever. And then about a few minutes and the guy gets on, and then he's like, okay, guys, we're going to the Pullman in Auckland. That is when we know where we're going.
Right. Any idea why they keep it so?
I think it's something to do back to our previous little side chat. Something about people not dropping off stuff that you shouldn't have.
Right. That makes sense. Because I know there was that story with people smoking meth in the hotel. Did you hear about that?
Well, I know they did it. Did you one in Sydney where the guy dropped off stuff to his girlfriend or vice versa?
Really?
Yeah, like ice and stuff. Meth. Yeah.
Maybe that was Australia. I just heard rumors of people smoking meth in the
I'm
hotel,
sure
so
they are.
That is just.
Well, what else are you going to do for 2 weeks?
Yeah, I know, right?
Right?
Fair
You're 2 weeks on your own.
Well, that's what I want to talk to you about. So
Yep.
so you're in the bus, you're driving.
We're driving. At this point, I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, the Pullman has a good reputation.
Were you looking it up?
No. I was still just sort of, you're kind of like this excited, like kid going to school for the first time kind of energy, because you're sort of like, what is it going to be like? That was mine. So probably to preface for people, I kind of came, and you would understand this, I thought 2 weeks, I've got a busy life, 2 weeks for me to just focus on being productive with writing and stuff. In my head, that's what was going to happen.
Right. Now, hold on. It's a hotel. You paying for it?
So if I stay for 90 days, no.
So is that the rule?
This is the rule.
So if you come back to New Zealand for 90 days.
Yes.
Now, what happens if I decided to leave New Zealand now as a New Zealand citizen?
Yeah.
For a 3-week trip
Yeah.
in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Then I come back and I don't have another trip planned for 90 days.
You have to pay, because the rule is that after the 31st of August, in New Zealand citizens choosing to go over, no matter what, have to pay. Yeah.
And it's like $3,000. Is that
$3,100.
Interesting. Okay.
And I kept in mind, because I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing, so I've kept in mind that I might still have to pay that. And honestly, I feel good to say that without spoiling the ending, it was a good enough time that I kind of felt that that would have been money well spent. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I can understand the cost, and I do not feel great about like not having paid taxes here for so long and sort of taking that money.
Yeah, sure.
On the flip side, I am trying to put money back into the economy that that would have gone so
to Australia. So you get off the bus.
Yeah. Yes, so we get off the bus. At this point, this is where we start to see military people. And they sort of slowly take us in one by one. And I was in no hurry to get off the bus, because I was like, we're going to be here for a while. I can chill out.
Well, there's still people, though, like on the fucking... you know what? I don't get that. When people are on the plane and they stand up on the plane just to wait.
Yes.
What is with that? Do you do that?
No.
I don't get that.
But I feel pressure if I'm in the aisle.
Me too. And then
That's
you get some other person
window.
who's like, standing and they're kind of hunched over,
and
they're
I'm
like,
I'm chill. I'm happy to be the last
what
one
are you
off.
doing? Yeah.
What's the hurry? My bags aren't going to be there.
Exactly.
Just
and then we
chill.
got to wait by the conveyor belt
Yeah.
at the end too.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand that at all. I want to be first to wait. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So were people doing that on the bus as well?
Oh, no. I think...
One person's just screaming, no! No! I don't want the vaccine. It's all a fake news. It's all 5G. It is, though. That was a joke.
Oh, I know. You just don't know how real that is.
That is true. And I do worry about, I feel like some things I say, people just actually take them verbatim.
Yeah.
But
it's because you've got the accent.
do you reckon it is? Because I'll say stuff in conversation and they'll be like,
American.
wait, what? I'm like, no, it's obviously a joke. It's so insanely absurd.
It's not, because there's people that sound like you that would say
that
it for
believe
real.
that stuff. I know. Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you get off the bus.
Get off the bus. Again, start to see some military. Slowly, like they pull people in. You sit down. You have a conversation. Now, bear in mind, I should point out that I think it's a little bit different in every place. So I don't know if that's the exact process for everywhere. Just because we had the option of the important thing. We had the option of choosing our meals from 3 choices
Because you're in premium economy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Because
they recognize, like, she's in premium economy. Yeah.
no, everybody at that hotel.
Right. Okay. Even the non-premium.
Even the non-premium
So just
economy.
the economy.
I know.
Cringe.
I know. So we walk in. Someone sits down. Someone explains to you. It's still not super clear.
Okay.
I think they mentioned that point you're going to get tested day 3, day 12. But we came in at 7 p.m. And what we couldn't figure out is that day 1 or is that day 2? Is that day 0 and day 1 starts the next day? So we're so already you're kind of like, I don't really. But at this point, like, so we got in at 7. They had some food waiting for us, which was really thoughtful.
Nice food.
Yeah, it's just like a wrap and stuff. It was tasty.
Yeah,
but honestly,
cool.
like food becomes your best friend and your worst nightmare. It really does. And so then we get allocated to our rooms. I was pretty impressed. I was level 12. Like, I had a view of the harbour.
Hell yeah.
I was thinking, I've got it made. Yeah. And I had noticed they're like, oh, and you can use the gym. I was like, oh, that's it. I'm happy as. Can't believe we get to use the gym. No way. I don't know if you know, in Australia, they are not allowed to leave their rooms at all. Security guards are outside. And also I had windows in my room, which was just like, oh, relief.
So in Australia, you're in a room
and often
14 days.
And often, in fact, I need to give my friend a call because he's in there now. Often they don't have windows that open.
Damn.
So they do it.
Imagine being in prison. Oh
That's
God.
it. And then security guard in the hallway. So you can't even open your door. If I wanted to, I probably could have had my door open for a while if I felt the need to do that. But I could leave my room and go downstairs. Yeah.
So okay. So you get your food.
Yeah.
You go into your room.
Yeah.
Then they tell you can use the gym.
Yeah.
Gym?
Yeah, no, so actually that wasn't quite the case. And I'm wondering, because I thought, how do you manage a gym?
Sure.
Here's the thing, and this is why honestly I was like, I've got more chance of getting quarantined in the hotel than in Sydney. Because at that point we had 0 cases. And I'm in a hotel room with people from all over the world.
Is that right? So you're not all from Sydney?
No.
In the hotel?
No, it's completely full.
Do they allocate it according to floor? Like, so this flight came in, everyone
I don't
really?
think
So it's totally random.
I don't think so.
This is what I was thinking, right? Because imagine if you're on your 13th day.
Exactly.
Right? And then someone just comes in, tests positive for COVID. Then you have to go through a whole nother thing. Do they even, if you test positive for COVID and you're in the quarantine hotel, do they take you out of the hotel?
I believe so.
Push you in somewhere else?
They put you with other cases, I think. I can't confirm that, but that's what I heard. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get in.
Yeah.
You're in your room.
Yeah.
Day one.
My mate, Grace, she is a smoker.
Okay.
So she goes down 24 hours smoking area.
Cool.
She goes down, has a smoke, I think. So we got in about like 8, 9. So I think I just chilled or went whatever, but I'm still in Australia time. And I've got this big, beautiful bed in a room to myself and my own bathroom. Like, what more could you really want? Yeah. So, and a duty-free bottle. So what else?
Yeah. Did you pick up smoking?
No.
Just to get out?
No. So in the end, not the gym. I don't know why they decided not to use it. I was surprised it was an option because imagine you're there working out and then someone who's come in on day 1, and you're day 14.
Totally, yeah.
Like that's, so same issue. But the amount of freedom we had was, to me, surprising because I had come in thinking that it would be, I thought maybe security guards on each floor. No. Not at all.
Quite loose.
Yeah. I don't want to take away from the fact that it is well run, but we had freedom. Yeah, for sure. It wasn't like what they're doing in Australia. Yeah.
Right, where it's just like tight.
You can't leave your room. Could you imagine?
That'd be awful. Yeah.
I think I would have, because I think I would have cracked under those.
So you're in there day one. What's like, do you set up a routine for yourself? Are you trying to be like, I'm going to work out every day, 50 burpees, 50 push-ups?
Well, so obviously with COVID and gyms closing and that, I kind of did have a few apps lined up. In my head, I kind of thought, I'm going to do these riding courses. I'm going to do this amount of riding. So I was pretty well set up in my head.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I found, having been such a tough year, I really I had like puzzle books as well. So I like puzzles. Oh, the really cute thing is they give you a puzzle as well. I thought it was really sweet. And then they end up trying to give you more because I've got too many. So Merry Christmas, a few people.
Imagine if they just gave you equations to solve Bitcoin things. And then they actually make, like, because you have to solve those really complex, Bitcoin solves like equations to release Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They just get everyone in quarantine to work through those equations.
We did get a couple of Sudokus and a couple of crosswords. So that was cute. And then the first thing we did, most importantly, was order our menu for the 2 weeks.
So you order everything 2 weeks up.
Yeah.
What's the food look like? What are we talking?
Yes.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Do they give you morning tea, afternoon tea?
It's included.
Okay. Oh.
The food is, so I had talked to my mate who went through it and she got maybe the Seabull at the airport, which was a tougher one. She was, it wasn't as good. The food was not comparative to the standard that we had. The thing that was interesting though is I said that we couldn't have, because Mum had like started doing a care package of like sending me out fresh food, because that's what
so she can send you stuff into the...
You can, but then for this particular hotel, they were like, no food to be dropped off. You can order delivery, you can order like from the supermarket, but no one can bring you in food.
Can you order from like Deliver Easy? Can you do Uber Eats?
There was a couple of times I don't want to give them unnecessarily airtime, but
yeah, sure. You ordered certain companies.
No. I ordered Uber Eats for sure, because by the end of the...
Shout out to Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Use my promo code refer20.
So I should explain. So 3 cooked meals a day. Think about how much you eat in a day. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's just a lot, and it's mass produced. So even though it's beautiful, I mean, we had like bacon wrapped chicken, and we had like pork roast, and it was quite like heavy stuff. Mm-hmm. So by the end of it, I was just craving something fresher. Mm-hmm. So I cracked it and ordered Uber Eats at extortionate prices, might I add. Mm-hmm. I ordered Uber Eats a couple of times because I just needed to taste something different. Okay. Having said that, honestly, you get to a point where you go, you would never believe it. You're actually having to throw stuff out because you just... So me and Grace, we kind of both naturally did this. We try and keep things for at least a day and be like, oh, maybe I'll eat it. Mm-hmm. And then you just can't.
So are you eating, is it the same meal? So it's like, I want chicken for dinner, and you consistently get chicken every single thing? No.
It's like, so you had 3, and again, this is not all the hotels. We were just lucky. You had 3 choices per meal of what you wanted to choose. So
3 choices. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's very cool.
I'll be honest. It sounds like really...
So I said I'd pay the money.
I get it. It's tough. I get it. But like, as far as like tough situations go, it sounds like a very nice, tough situation.
And this is what's the kind of head fuck about it, I think, is because you're like, I'm really on a kind of a nice holiday. Mm-hmm. I put it this way. It's kind of like being a royal or a famous person. You have all this luxury, but you don't have the freedom of movement.
Interesting.
It's just, and I was like, is this what it feels like to be rich and famous?
Yeah.
Because your laundry gets done. You can order, you go, oh, please can I have some blah, blah, blah.
Please can I have some more.
But I can't leave because I'm going to get mobbed by the paparazzi or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or any scandal happens, the world's going to know about it. This is what it's like. It's interesting. And you go, I kind of love it. But wow, I kind of hate it too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a weird dynamic.
So I got a few questions about all that. Yeah. So we got through that. So what were the most, I guess, like notable effects being in isolation physically as well as mentally? Yeah.
So I was quite surprised about the things that physically, just not getting enough vitamin D. Mm-hmm. I kind of noticed that my skin just didn't seem as bright and fresh. Mm-hmm. Physically, I was okay, sort of exercise-wise, because I mean, I exercise most days anyway. Mm-hmm. And because of COVID, the gym shut down, I had a lot of apps and stuff set up.
So are you working out every day?
Yeah, I think I might have. There was a couple of days that I wasn't well, not COVID related, and I think I took those kind of days off. And this is where the mental health comes into it. So I nearly got a migraine one day, and this is a crazy thing. I didn't have any Panadol. Don't travel without your medical stuff. Rookie mistake, because you have to order it in. No one could give me anything. So I had to sit through fighting off a migraine for a day. So it's a whole loss of a day for me, of which I was trying to get stuff done. And it was after that in terms of mental health, I realized that you're kind of operating at about 20% more motivation.
It takes 20% more motivation to get anything done?
Just to keep your day going. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong. I'm sure it's different for other people. If you had mental health issues, I feel for you, because even though it's lovely, you do have to, there's no reason for you to get up.
Sure.
You don't have to cook your food. You don't have to wash your clothes. You don't have to put clothes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've got stream, you've got Wi-Fi, you've got everything at your fingertips. You have no reason to do anything but laze around for 2 weeks.
Sure.
And if you do that, power to you, because you probably needed it. But so to actually push through that, you need to operate a little bit higher level of motivation. So when I wasn't well, it was hard not to, and that was the start of week 2. It was kind of hard to just like go, oh, why don't I just chill out for the rest of the week? And you could just easily slide. The other mental health thing I thought as well, I think a bit of anxiety, was anything you maybe have a precursor to before you go in. So I'm probably a bit ADD or whatever. Some people have made that comment to me. Not happy about that. But it felt like it exasperated it. It felt like it was kind of, mate, I just couldn't focus. I couldn't focus. So I probably could have like meditated and stuff. The other funny thing is I was still running on Australian time. So I was kind of getting up a bit later, but staying up quite late. So you've got no timetable that you set to. The food becomes your only sort of like measuring stick of time. Yeah. So while you have this like, I cannot eat anymore, when you hear the rustle of the paper bag.
Is it real exciting?
It's the most exciting thing. You're like, what is it? And then you see it, you're like, wow, I can't eat it.
That's insane. So you get in there, you're chilling for like, so what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What active, like conscious things were you doing
Well, so the thing is,
to keep yourself sane? Because it sounds like you keep yourself busy.
Busy, yes.
Yeah, and what are you busy with? You're writing?
Yeah, so I was still doing a little bit of work.
Okay.
But the thing is, I'd sit down and I'd be like, well, I'm not really, like, I don't really want to. No one's here making me do it. So I'm just going to, I might pick up that book and read it for a little bit, or I might read a thing. So, because I haven't had a break. None of us have really had a holiday for the whole year. So you kind of go, and that's that whole push through motivation thing. I think if you're working full time in there, that's the best way you can go through it, because
just grind it
through.
Out.
Yeah.
Interesting. So when you're working out, right, are you working out to exhaustion? Like just really going for it?
No, I mean, I'm not. I must admit, I did try and use my suitcases as weights because I didn't know how heavy they were.
Like just curling these like massive 7
I was doing like
things.
some squat thrusts. I was trying. And then I was like kind of trying to push press. Yeah, I couldn't quite get the weight. And then I was like, I'm going to break my suitcases. So I stopped doing it. But I immediately ordered a stepper, which took too long to come. Thank you, Kmart. I ordered like a small one.
Yeah.
I ordered stuff like a yoga. I ordered all the stuff when I got here straight away. So
Right.
but so I had planned that.
I guess you can't really know where to deliver it either, right? That's the thing until you get there.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Any cute military personnel?
Well,
here we go.
I was like, and Grace and I got told off several times because we were too close and chatting. So I didn't. So it was time for me to see. And I honestly, if I can give you any advice, befriend someone.
Right.
Because that was the best. We would call each other. I'd be like, hey, what have you got for lunch? We'd send each other food, things. I don't know if there was a Facebook group because I never needed it. Because I was on the phone the whole time. That's probably what I did most of the time. And if people who know me won't be surprised by that. But so I would call Grace and I'd be like, and she'd be like, oh, this. And so we'd check up on each other. She could tell me, she's like, I just got tested. You'll probably be tested soon. Oh, they're telling us we can get out this time, blah, 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 blah. They don't tell you when you can leave until about like 4 days before you can go, by the way.
But you know you're in there for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, but they don't. I needed to organise a flight or a car.
Okay, now what happens if I was like, hey, I need to get down to Christchurch and they drop you off in Auckland? Do they then fly you from Auckland to Christchurch?
People had their own flights already.
But how would they know to book those flights if they didn't know when they were leaving?
So you might have booked your flight to end in Christchurch. So I guess then, I don't know. I know a guy in our hotel had booked himself a flight to Christchurch. I don't know if he'd done it before or after, because it's hard to get flights to anywhere else but Auckland at the moment from overseas.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
because that was part of the problem. All my flights were to Wellington. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking human connection's huge.
Huge, yeah. And so we had each other, and I think that's the biggest blessing. She was such a chatty person, and normally that would be me, but she was like, and she'd chat to people, and because you're in the smoking area, so you just get to know people. And she's like, oh, that person's been here, or they're doing this because they're leaving, or So that's the best way. And I think you can't be isolated, but it could be so easy to just not talk to anybody for 2 weeks.
You could just get away with it, yeah.
The other thing is we had nurses come every day, but they didn't really they did health checks. They sort of asked.
What does a health check look like?
Just any symptoms, take your temperature, on your way. I had one really lovely, and I wish I knew her name. She's the only one that called me by my name, and she was really sweet. So
what do the others call you?
They're like, hello.
Patient number 39. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, taxation.
Yeah.
Cost to the country number 101,000 billion.
Bludger 84. How are you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You're like, hey, it's 82.
Yeah, but you do.
Bludger
You're getting your
82.
own bubble. Yeah. So, I'm just so excited to talk about it, obviously.
Yeah, shit, yeah, you're doing great.
But that's the big thing. They don't do a real mental health check on there. And I think that's a little bit lacking in that particular place. Other places might be better. I heard that one of the other hotels sends you bottles of wine on your last day to celebrate.
That's your mental health check. Here's a freaking bottle of wine.
No. But things that like just pump. I mean, we got a little note saying you're halfway there. And there's cute things like that actually do make a difference. But I mean, the staff were incredible. It was great. I loved it when we were checking out. They give us a thing saying, if you want to write a note to the staff and leave it downstairs. It felt like, it felt like a kid in high school, like, thank you so much. I loved learning about.
Did you get like an exit review as well? Things you could talk about that that would be so useful.
I don't know why they didn't do an exit review, and they might be overwhelmed.
I'm sure a part of them just like, fuck it, listen, you're coming back into the country. We're trying to do our best here, get things done. But at the same time,
I was really surprised by that. So and again, I think it's done differently as well everywhere. I'm surprised that the government's not sending out an exit review.
Yeah.
I do genuinely worry about people and mental health. And what I was
going to say is, like, I understand where you're coming from when they have with the mental health checkups.
Yeah.
Incredibly important. But I do know in New Zealand there's just a huge shortage of qualified people to give mental health assessments. So I live with a few, I guess, budding psychologists.
Sure.
And within Vic Uni, there's 10 of them graduating this year.
No.
Right? And so that's in Vic Uni. I don't know what the attrition rate is within the country, but for universities, it costs them money to get people qualified to become psychologists, right? And psychotherapists and stuff like that. So there's a real shortage here in New Zealand, and the funding's not there for it. So it costs the university to put them through. So we just don't have enough people. And so apparently what the government did recently, and I might be wrong here, but they've actually started encouraging nurses to give the mental health checkups and stuff like that, but they're not qualified to do it, and they don't actually know what is involved in doing it. So I totally get the importance of being like, hey, we should have, a therapist or somebody available. But imagine you're in a hotel and it's like 100, and I'm sure everyone's struggling in some way.
Yeah, because even I got to a point where I struggled. Yeah.
And there's also a real issue here where a lot of people go into private practice, and that becomes incredibly expensive, and the waiting lists are huge. Big waiting lists just to see a therapist, just to see a psychologist, and there's just a shortage. There's just not the supply there for it, which is another reason we have antidepressants, people turn to pills because they're a much easier solution, much more accessible. It's like, hey, I can either prescribe you antidepressants, or you can go on a 2-month waiting list to go see a psychologist.
Wow. So I mean, but what about counsellors? Do we not? I mean, that's all you'd really like.
I think it's all just wrapped up into like a shortage.
Yeah. So, overall. I mean, if they could do something to bridge that gap, and I realise that people aren't qualified, but I think it's not even just a mentor. It's just someone coming and having a conversation with you, being like, hey, what are you up to in here? Like, how you going? Like, because if I hadn't had Grace, like I could have been talking to my own people, but I could have not physically spoken to anyone except for that one cute military guy, like the second to last day.
Hell yeah. Tell me about that.
I know, this is more important. No, so I laughed because I thought, how is anybody, you've got your mask on the whole time. How is anybody like having a cute, like having an
affair or something like that?
There was one girl who she was very regular downstairs at the walking tracks.
Yeah.
Very regular, very sporty, like very like fit looking girl. And she was having full on conversations with one of the guys. I don't mean to dub her in. I don't know her name. Actually,
yeah.
I don't remember her name.
The guy's just, this guy loving it. He's just,
Yeah, I was like, man, I was so comfortable. I thought maybe they actually knew each other before.
Right.
And then I struck up a conversation at the end of the day with Adrian.
Maybe don't dub it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No. Apparently they don't get to choose. They get brought up and brought down. So rather than having them at where they live,
For military.
yeah, you're right. Get them in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, we were well within, like, it's true. Like, you are 2 meters apart, you got masks on, you could have a conversation. And I think even that little conversation kind of like brightened my day a little bit. And it was just a friendly conversation. So it's, yeah, like I say, go back to the mental health thing. Even being able to have a conversation with somebody, you know, actually does make a difference.
Huge.
Yeah, I think that sort of probably needs to, like, that if that can be incorporated in some way, and maybe other places are doing it, that is probably just having a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
Because I was worried when I came out, because I hadn't been speaking to people in IRL in real life, that I was going to be like a nightmare. Just it took me a while to adjust.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what were the biggest noticeable differences when it comes to like human interactions when you left quarantine?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I can say that was weird was that I honestly didn't know how to look in a big scene, because I had been looking out of a window.
Right.
And even when we went down to the walking track, it wasn't a huge wide scene. And I really honestly wasn't down there for very long, because it stressed me the hell out.
It made you stressed to be in the walking
Because people go at their own pace, and then you feel like you got to hurry up. And I was like, I just want to go for an amble. So it was stressful. Right. It wasn't for exercise for me, it was to get fresh air. Anyway, so I was never down there too long. But when I came out and I'm driving, I'm like, oh my gosh, my peripherals, I can't, what are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any kind of like, do they prepare you at all? Be like, hey, you're going to experience these things when you leave quarantine?
No.
Or it's just like, hey, you're out, good to go?
Yeah, you're really out in the street.
Wow.
Yeah. So I left at 7 a.m. I opted to stay an extra night because I thought 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, by the time, I didn't know how quick the process was going to be to let us go. As it turns out, once you're done, you are done. It does feel you've been treated like this lap of luxury for 2 weeks, and then you're like out on the street holding your bags going, hello?
Yeah, definitely.
It feels so weird.
So talking to people, what's that like? Is it just like a gush of emotion? Or is it kind of like
I actually just couldn't focus properly. I just couldn't really focus in for a little bit. Yeah, I was a bit sort of like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it was a bit tricky.
So your attention span's just like short.
Yeah, it was just short a bit. Yeah.
Right. And so when you're in quarantine as well, are you watching a shitload of Netflix? Are you on YouTube?
You can, and I did, and I fell down the YouTube hole probably every day, but that's me anyway.
Yeah, man, I get in that too. I really
that
get
rabbit
into
hole.
That. Yeah, it's so crazy. Have you seen The Social Dilemma?
Oh, no, I finished watching it.
Yeah, you should have watched that in quarantine.
Well, no, so I actually tried not to do any binge watching, because I knew if I binged anything, that would be it. I would lose days. So I actually stayed off Netflix quite a bit and actually
Sounds like you were pretty good during lockdown.
Yeah. So I probably actually recommend that. Try, unless you want to just lose time, which I didn't want to. So I stayed with real TV. You kind of had some idea of like what was happening, and also I realized I've got 2 weeks of doing nothing coming up. So
nice. What was your biggest achievement during lockdown? Like, what did you?
Not much. I really don't know.
Nice.
No, that's terrible.
Really? Like you didn't you did some writing. You got some work done?
I wasn't creative, because it's that for me, I bounce off other, but that's me. I'm extroverted. I bounce off other people. I wasn't that creative. Maybe I got a couple of work things done that I hadn't done like while I was actually at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Now, total amount of work that you got done when you were in lockdown in hours, what do you reckon? 5, 6 hours?
No, because I know my hours got to put them down. I was sort of working about 15 to 20 hours a week, which is pretty normal. Yeah.
That's not bad.
But when I was like the sick days, it was
total write-off.
Just back in bed and
done.
Just
Man, that's a cool story though. You're the first person that I've met, which is crazy because we have so many people coming back from overseas.
Is that true? This is what I want to ask. Is that true?
I feel like so. Should we look it up? Let me try to look up the statistics. People who have returned during lockdown. People who have returned from overseas.
Yeah.
People who have.
But I wonder if that includes people like you say that have gone overseas and come back.
Well, yeah, because I know one person who did.
Yeah. So, I mean, power to them to know that you're going. 3 weeks and doing the 2. So I keep putting my trip off as soon as one of the 1 quarantines dropped.
Yeah.
I was looking to come back because I could not have done 2, and I don't think I could have done the Australian version because that
sounds gnarly. I don't know if
I've got a friend who's staying in Vietnam because he's like, I will not get through those 2 weeks, and I think
Really?
fair call, yeah.
Really?
So a lot of people have said the first 3 days and the last 3 days are the hardest. For me, it was like the first week was a breeze, and then because I had all these plans, and then the
Sure.
second week sort of because of that blip kind of was a bit difficult, but for the most part, good. Yeah, if you were a family.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Are you in the room together?
Yes, I don't. They say families, they try and give them, if possible, they try and give them bigger rooms and things like that. But
Sure.
I think, there were a
Imagine if
fair
you're a family
few.
of 4. Oh my God.
Well, what's really funny when you go down to the thing, you see like the newbies come in. It's like the fresh fish. It's
yeah.
quite.
Do you feel like a badass when you're coming out?
Yeah, they're like,
and you see teardrop tattoo.
and they're also like happy and like vibrant. You're like, oh no.
You're in for hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't imagine. So I'm not sure if they're giving them more space. I think where they are, they do. But like, there were a lot of couples with babies. And I think that is a big call. Yeah.
So I can't find the number. I need someone like Jamie on Joe Rogan's podcast. I need a producer.
You do.
Yeah, and I could just be like, pull that up, and then I can be passively aggressive to them during the podcast as
Sure.
well, every time they try and chime in.
Who are you got any candidates you're thinking of right now?
No, I don't have any. Do you know what I need?
No friends?
I just no friends, man. I've got you. You want to do it? I need somebody who can take the full video, the full podcast, and chop that up into clips.
People that can do that are gems.
Well, the thing is, it's not that hard.
You don't think?
It's just time.
Yeah.
All you need to be able to know is where. So, like, this clip right here would be like what Gavin needs.
Yes.
That's a clip. And,
Yeah.
but you just need to know where a new line of dialogue starts within the podcast.
Yeah.
So you need to listen through the whole podcast.
Yes.
B, chop it up. And then C, get thumbnails, YouTube thumbnails for the clips. That's what I need.
So because I have a podcast that I've sat on for 2 years that I haven't put out. 10 things I date about you guys. I'm just going to cross promo there.
Say it again. What is it?
10 things I date about you, but it's still just sitting there.
Okay.
And hopefully.
Recorded episodes?
Yeah.
How many episodes?
I think I got 6 or 7.
Hey, why'd you never release it?
I will. I just time. And that's what I thought I'd do in quarantine.
Yes.
Do some editing. But then it was like you say, do I want to sit here and listen to myself talk? Or do I just want to like watch TV?
I get it. It does. It is super useful listening back to yourself.
Yeah.
You learn a lot. Like I learned when I first started the podcast, I'd be like, while you were talking, I'd just be like, yeah, okay.
I do it too. Yeah.
In conversation, you do it all the time.
Yeah, and it's weird not to.
Because you're reaffirming what they're saying. But in a podcast format, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Let's
try live radio, which I have a habit of doing. I'm like, oh, stop it.
Because you worked in radio.
Yeah, community radio for 4 or so years, I think.
Are you paid when you're on community radio?
No.
You're not.
No money.
Do you reckon it's a good sounding board to then, not sounding board, what do you call that? Jumping board to go into other work?
Yeah, you just need to make sure that you're very clear because the styles are a bit different too. So you need to make very sure you're clear that your end goal is actually, because it's quite easy to sit in the community radio trap. Where it works well in Australia is because you have SBS and you have ABC, two big like ABC is one of the biggest radio networks, TV networks, obviously. Australian Broadcast Company and company. No, ABC. Corporation, thank you. People definitely make the leap over because the style's the same. But community radio style is much more chilled than like commercial.
Yeah, I think I've wanted to get involved with it. I don't know. I feel like I'm just doing my thing here at the moment.
Look, there's arguments for both sides. One of the great things I had when I was in quarantine was we had Craig Bruce. He does the Radio Game Changers podcast. I've had the luck of meeting him, and he has worked with a lot of big names.
I'm sure it's a great networking thing as well.
Yeah. So he the summit was, we watched 5 different people in the industry do talk about different things, and it was varied from kind of old school radio to I'm here selling merchandise and making and buying a house. So the range was,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you reckon radio is dying?
Oof.
So many people say that. Because in
personally, Australia, it's not.
It's not? So what type of radio is doing well in Australia? Is it just talkback radio? Is it...
Talkback, sports radio. They just opened up a new sports, AM sports channel.
Really?
Sports radio station.
See, I just think... My thinking would be podcasting would just come in and take it out.
No, I think... you've just got such big names who are celebrities that people love. That just dominates. That
just dominate on radio.
Yeah.
See, why wouldn't they just go into podcasting, where it's fully autonomous?
Well, so Matt O'Kine and Alex, I can't think of his name. They had Triple J's Breakfast, one of the most popular shows, and they have gone to do now, I think because of COVID, because both of them did stuff that needed audiences, that they've done an all day breakfast, so they've done that. Hamish and Andy, two of the biggest
because they went
stars.
into
they've done podcast was amazing,
it was super funny,
yeah.
But like, did Hamish and Andy go? I always felt like that was maybe I'm just in my head a step down from what they were doing before. Was the radio station not doing very well? And
no. They walked away, I think, to pursue other projects.
Right.
And then I think they love working together, and the podcast, I think, stands on its own now.
It definitely does.
Yeah, that they just went, okay. And whether they thought maybe they could make more money, but no way. They, and also, I don't know if you have it here, but they both have their own separate things, whereas... Hamish is doing the Lego Masters show.
I saw that. Lego Build Masters.
Lego Build Masters.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen it?
Yeah, it's great. I
haven't actually watched it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's on Netflix? It's not on Netflix.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Nothing pisses me off more than when you type something into Netflix and it gives you like a crappy related title. You know? It's like, I want to watch It's on there, Titanic. But I want to watch Titanic and it just gives you Poseidon.
Sinking. Poseidon.
It's a great movie though. I used to watch Poseidon like 3 or 4 times. Day After Tomorrow.
Or
Poseidon.
What's the one with the gods and stuff? Oh God, that would have been good.
Wait, the gods?
The demigods and stuff like Percy
Jackson, the lightning thief. Yeah.
Oh, right. Percy Jackson.
Fuck yeah, give it to me. So what do you got going on? What's happening? You're back in New Zealand.
Yeah, I'll probably stay the 90 days.
Cool.
Again, if anyone's listening and going, oh, you're taking out tax money, I'm on board. I get it. So for you, I will be buying as many drinks as I can on Cuba Street while I'm here.
Nice. Hell yeah, I love
You're
it.
welcome. Actually, just buying petrol here is crazy.
Crazy. Everything's expensive here. Relative to what you earn, it's just like, oh, Christ.
No. Yeah. And honestly, that's... so I'm looking for a commercial radio job, and I'm just going to see where it lands either side of the ditch.
Would you move for it?
Yeah. That's
move up to Auckland?
Yeah. If it was a radio job, for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
For sure.
Nice.
So we'll see where I end up. I'm even contemplating Darwin. Ooh.
Yeah. I actually don't know much about Darwin.
Fun place. Really hot. Crocodiles.
Is it actually fun? Like,
yeah.
I thought it was just in the middle of nowhere.
Army's out there and good.
Ever since
stuff.
Lockdown, you just gotta
No.
I love my army.
No. It just means that it's a bit of a party town too. So
is it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it used to be. I don't know what's happening. Who knows what's going on now?
Yeah, it's true. What's COVID like in Australia right now? They kind of sorted it out, or is it just kind of...
Look, you heard my joke, and I'm going to say it here as well.
Do it.
The only thing that changed during Sydney lockdown was that you had to bring your own $50 note to smoke the Coke.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
the Coke.
A great joke. It's such a funny
But
joke.
Honestly, like, we never did a full lockdown. I could go out and have coffee, like walk around with friends and get coffee the whole time.
Yeah.
I played a shortened season of AFL. I was back doing comedy by a certain time. I mean, that's changed. That's a lot quieter and a bit sadder, but I think they've reduced restrictions. If you had to walk down my street during COVID, you would have been like, is it actually happening?
Right. Just seemed normal. Interesting.
Yeah. Where I was living was good. Look, I'm not condoning it, but it worked.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm looking at it now. 53 active cases
in
Australia. 13 new cases in the past 24 hours.
But that would be in quarantine.
That's true.
No community transfer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Testing last 25,000 tests.
Yeah. And maybe we're testing less, and maybe because we're a bit
That was an estimate. That 50,
Yeah.
50, what did I say, 53?
You know, we did a test. I think one day they tested like nearly, if not 100,000 people. Some of the days that we were testing was huge. They really went hard in the testing.
You ever get a test? Did you get a test?
Yeah,
of course
I did.
You did. You were in quarantine.
Well, no, but I got one there as well. And let me tell you.
Scramble your brain.
I thought, because one I had done in Sydney was like, oh, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went and got one in quarantine, I just about hit the chick because I was so mad.
Did it feel different, or was it just like
awful? And it was so much longer.
Yes.
And I was so mad. And then when I went back for the second one, I was like, look, it didn't go very well last time. So can you please be gentle?
Love me gently.
And then she went to do it. I was like, hang on. Okay. I was like, honestly, I would take a shot in the arm any day over that in my nose. It is horrendous. Because my Grace came back and she goes, oh, it wasn't very nice. And I went, oh, okay, that's odd. Oh, maybe you're just a little bit of a pussy.
Yeah.
And then I went and I was like stomping out of there. Going, this is not how you need to do this.
I've been assaulted. I'm a radio broadcaster. I know how this is done. I'm a comedian. Premium economy.
That was exactly.
Is there a premium economy version of this COVID test?
I Karen'd my ass out of there.
Some guy, I'm not going to tell his joke. It's a funny joke about the whole Karen thing. Hey, anyway, listen, I got to wrap this up.
You do. I think we went way over.
This is good. This is really fun.
Yes.
Anything we should shout out?
Oh, well, you're doing a tour. Let's shout it out.
Well, yes.
I'm so impressed by this because I thought I wanted to come back and organise this, and I thought, oh gosh, like, how's it done? So yeah.
Wait, the podcast, the tour,
the tour.
Yeah, well, we do have a tour coming up. It's in the South Island, North Island and South Island. Basically, the most closest show we have is we're doing the Auckland Fringe Festival, American Refugees, my buddy Aaron Barber and I, who I will have on coming up soon.
Lovely guy, big fan.
Super nice guy. We're going to be going Auckland and then Wellington during Feb, and then down to the South Island in March 22nd. We're in Nelson, and then we do a new city, so we go Nelson, Blenheim, Christchurch, Dunedin, Queenstown, day apart, so 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. Might do 2 dates in Queenstown. Not sure just yet.
I just think for the fun factor. But again, you'll have to tell me what it's like.
We'll do a tour wrap up, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think so. It'd be cool if you're still in Wellington or still in New Zealand.
I'll just be like, hi, I'm an Australian New Zealand refugee.
Yeah. We might need an opener at some point. So it could be kind of cool. But anything you want to plug?
No, I mean, eventually I'll put this podcast out. But
What's it called again?
10 Things I Date About You.
10 Things I Date About
You. It's about dating.
Cool.
We'll have to chat sometime. Just plug come see comedy. I think people have been really cool about that here. So keep doing what you're doing, New Zealand.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. That was fun. I hope you got a bit out of that. I know I did. It was just interesting getting that perspective on what quarantine was like. Now, once again, subscribe if you liked the video. And if you want to support the channel, let me know on potential guests that I can have. Literally send me a message on Facebook or something in the comments. I'll take it. I don't care. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Hey, if you enjoyed that, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the left-hand side. And to watch other episodes, click one of those squares on the right. If you only want to listen to this and don't have time to watch the full video, you can find this podcast wherever podcasts are listened to online. Thanks. Bye.